Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. Sorry we are a bit delayed with our post-match reaction today for Everton's draw at Leicester City. And joining me to talk about the game is Corey. How are you, Corey?
All right, mate. Yeah, well, would have been better if we'd have held on, but here we go, life of a blue.
What's going on? Another goal conceded in the 6-yard box. It's like the defenders can't head it. It's the one thing they're meant to do. It's getting a joke now.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keane, we've all said it. We all want Jacob Greening, but Tarkowski's been just as bad. I think the ball floated past both of them before landing with Ndidi, was it, who passed it on to the goal scored in Vidi. So, look, we want to give Michael Keane some grief, but Tarkowski, I think, is just to blame. Hopefully, Branthwaite comes in and calms any nerves that there is at the moment, because there's just no sign of it stopping.
No sign of it stopping. I mean, that's the 5th game in a row. We have conceded goals, basic goals. I was so disappointed after that first half performance, Corey, where we were in complete control. I mean, I haven't seen Everton play. I mean, we played very well against Bournemouth at times, but we looked a threat. You know, Lindstrom on that right-hand side could have had a couple of goals, and Dyer's magic. Doucouré and Mangala looked assured in that midfield, and that was because they were playing faster. It wasn't taking time on the ball. It was fast passes, 1 and 2 touch. And then the second half, all of a sudden, it's laboured, slow. We're allowing James Garner to be isolated 1v1 against their wingers, and he was struggling. And then momentum builds, and you just concede that stupid goal, which is the most basic part of football. And I come away and I feel really deflated after that result.
Yeah, it's 2-point lost. It's not a point gained. The fact is, the first half we done so well. We had so much possession, like you said, fast-paced football. I actually think that's Doucouré's best game for us in a while. Technically, he looked better than I've seen him for a long time. But he's had worse games and scored multiple goals. It shows how good of a game he's had today. I see in the stats after the game, half-time, we had much more possession than they did. The action areas, again, all in our favour. And then second half in the 50th minute, the pressure just completely dropped from us and went against us. He had 10-15 minutes to react, and all he did was brought Harrison on.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Peter saying, I thought Doucouré played his best game in ages. He agrees with you. I mean, he just looked more composed and in control of what he's doing. And there's been times where Doucouré's been really loose on the ball, but I thought that everything Everton did was with composure. And that's why I'm so irritated at, you know, you said it's 2 points lost. I agree. I think Everton were the better team in that first half and should have been out of sight. Lindstrom's chances and obviously the cross late on, which we should have scored from. But I feel so aggrieved because actually after that first half at half time, I'm thinking Doucouré's played well and he normally doesn't. Young plays well and he can't do anything right. Keane was fine. Tarkowski looked assured. There was a level of intensity. And then what happened in that second half? What changed for you?
I just think it was a case of we sat back. It's got to be something he said at half-time, because we had about 4 or 5 minutes when we first come out, we put a little bit of pressure on. And then from that point, like I said, the possession stats or the pressure stats completely changed. We went from back and forward in our favour a little bit more to completely a whitewash, just pure Leicester possession, Leicester pressure on us. And it's got to be something that he said at half-time. It's got to be a tactical adjustment. I didn't see too much in terms of a change of how we were playing on the ball. We just sat back far too much, invited far too much pressure.
These substitutions. I mean, I understand, you know, tired legs. Jack Harrison, for me, I don't know your opinion. Obviously, we've only started speaking recently, but Jack Harrison, he makes me want to stick pins in my eyes. He's not for me at all on that right. And then he also goes and brings off Ndiaye. And what that does is allow Leicester to go and I get it, but it just gives the initiative to Leicester, and they took that to their advantage. They knew there was no protection there or threat, and they could just bomb everyone on. And you saw Jimmy Garner really struggling at right back in the 1v1 situations as a result.
Yeah, I mean, when he brought Harrison on at the time, I thought, you know what, probably I'm okay with that substitution. It's probably a substitution that I potentially would have made myself. It looked like he was being quite reactive to what Leicester were doing instead of being very, very slow. It's an early substitution by Dyche standards, much earlier than what he'd usually do. But as soon as Harrison come on, I just played a stinker. 3 out of 10 is probably what I'd given myself. So he does a defensive job, and he just did not support he did not support Garner at all. He's meant to be either a defensive wide man or someone who cuts in. He's not really played his part at all today. It takes a lot when he come on.
He looks different to the player I saw at Leeds, which was dynamic and scoring goals. And he just looks like he looks fast but slow at the same time. I just don't get it. How you look like you're really speedy, but actually you're slow and you're useless. And for me, as Peter's saying in the comments, it was a game throwaway. Welcome to the show, the 129 watching live. Thank you so much. Corey's making his debut on Follow Everton today. You're delighted to be on, but obviously frustrated.
Yeah, look. Bittersweet, get to come on, get to share my feelings, but it would have been better if I was sharing my feelings on a 1-0 winning, praising Ndai being magic.
Yeah, we should be. He's. Let's talk about the goals, and let's talk about the first goal. That is, when have we seen an Everton play with that level of composure? I mean, he kind of stands on the ball. You're thinking, where are you going with this? Plays the ball inside. Ashley Young then plays it in behind the Leicester defence, but he's got so much to do there. And then he hits it in off the left. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's just talismanic.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing he does is that run. How many times have we had a winger in recent years who's going to make that run in behind? The only player with pace was Gray, and he'd stick out wide. He wants the ball to feet. And Dye's making them runs all the time. And then, like you said, the composure stands his man up, takes on two with a feint, and squeezes it in. I've not seen a player do that since, from a wide position, Pienaar, Morales. It's a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jim Watson, how many times are we going to throw away a lead? Mate, it is getting ridiculous now. That's 3 wins on the bounce we've bottled. I mean, the Bournemouth one is inexplicable. The Villa one, Villa equality, but you should still be getting a draw. And today, a poor Leicester team. For me, they had one thing, and that was the left winger who was, I didn't even know his name. I didn't have the commentary on, but, James Garner 1v1 didn't play well, but when he had to do other types of defending was fairly good at right back. But just worry me that Everton have got a right back on the bench. Dixon could have come on maybe, and that would have meant maybe Harrison didn't need to come on. If you bring in a genuine right back to try and stop him and just say your job is stop this guy for Leicester. But I'm sat here now. I'm thinking, where do we go from here? Because I'm seeing signs that Everton are decent, and then they just go and throw it all away and ruin it with a stupid mistake. And it's basics, Corey. It's not like we're conceding goals where they're playing around, just cutting us open. And the Ndai goal, for example, if we'd have conceded that, you'd think magic. He's just too good for us. But a corner in the 6-yard box. What's Pickford doing? Why can't he? Is he afraid to come out and defend that 6-yard box? Because ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pickford potentially is hype, but he's always been a goalkeeper who doesn't really like to come for the ball. I think he finally had enough. In injury time, he come out to collect the ball himself. Made a good performance of it as well as coming out to collect that ball. I wasn't expecting him to actually reach it. So he's never been that kind of guy, but we've always had big centre-backs at the back, especially under Dyche. That should be our bread and butter. And for whatever reason, it's not at the moment. Again, a lot of fans are putting it on Keane. I think Tarkowski's been just as bad. But we've all seen the stats of how many we lose or how many we concede when Keane's in the team. So it could be, look, even though he doesn't put too much of a foot wrong, but he had an okay game until the defensive mistake at the end. But him just being there maybe puts that bit of doubt in everyone's mind, maybe has an effect. I actually think they both jumped into each other during the set piece where they scored from as well. So
it was a shambles. That's the exact word, a shambles. Talk me through your thoughts on Calvert-Lewin then, because for me, I thought he had a poor game. I thought he wasn't as good as in the other games. I don't know. It was like a bit of a blunt edge at the top end, apart from Ndai, in moments. Whereas Lindstrom looked really threatening, but he's kind of like an all or nothing player where he either looks magic or he looks hopeless. There doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground with him.
Yeah, so starting off with Calvert-Lewin, didn't have the greatest game. I thought he got bullied a lot more. If you compare that to how he played against Aston Villa, who we'd have thought are much better defenders, he bullied them. He's shown pace, he's shown strength. This time he was just getting bullied off the ball. He had one good moment where he got the ball knocked on and Dye tried to take it round, but that's pretty much all he done. Although a couple of good flick-ons, but yeah, he just wasn't as dynamic as we've seen him recently.
Yeah.
Hopefully he picks that up. He does benefit from McNeil being in that number 10 role. And possibly, because I've seen a couple of times he had two centre-backs on him, that's what led to Lindstrom being Three, obviously that volley should have scored early on. And a couple of times when Mangala found him, it's because he's got two defenders pushing onto him. So give him a bit of slack if it creates the space for other players.
Look, I'm not angry, but I'd say with this one, I'm disappointed. I definitely think it's 2 points thrown away. I thought Everton changed at half time. It was chalk and cheese, but still weren't bad. They just stopped playing to the same level. And I don't think Leicester are a good team. We should have killed them off. Leicester brought a lot of players forward, and Everton, with a bit more nous, would have picked Leicester off. I don't think their back four is great. And I thought there were opportunities there where we didn't capitalise and we were a bit blunt. The referee stunk the place out. That was another one. Some poor decisions. But Corey, before we go, the substitutions, do you think we maybe could have brought on Beto? I mean, you looked at the space Leicester left and the high line, and Beto with his running in behind. For me, I would have brought him on in that match.
Yeah, I think towards the end, the swap for Calvert-Lewin would have been the ideal substitution to make, especially if you keep McNeil, like I said, that number 10 role is perfect. Him sliding them balls through is what Beto would be feeding fantastically off. He's not a proper target man. He's the type of striker who's going to break the lines. McNeil would have been great at that, especially late on with tired legs. Harrison, again, I thought he'd be use the correct substitution. Turns out it was a poor performance from him. I didn't think Eric Boonen was the man to bring on, because at that point we were getting really overwhelmed. They were putting a lot of pressure on us. The lad's good on the ball. I like him, but that's not his kind of game. You bring James Garner in the middle at that point because he's struggling. Let him settle down, and then bring Dixon on.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, Dixon at right back, Garner into midfield, but Garner was on a yellow, so that was the only thing that made me slightly cautious about that decision. But look, he reverted his type. He put Doucouré back in his 10. He put McNeil on the left and Harrison on the right, and he thought that could see the game out at least for a draw. And there we go. We've got to build on this. We've got to get some wins. We can't hold the lead. We've got to get Branthwaite back for the next match for Keane. I bet my life savings. No, I'm not going to bet my life savings, but I bet my money on Everton winning the first game back that Jared Branthwaite comes into the team, because he's just a better defender. I do think we miss Onana. Some will disagree with me in the comments because that height, when defending crosses. But I'm just going to quickly look at these comments here. Jim says not one sub has worked all season. Sean is saying if you suffer with mental health like this, watching this dross doesn't help. Yeah, we know, mate. But we look better with Gay in the side. Jim, we can't defend crosses. I'd have a half-fit Dele Alli over Jack Sparrow Harrison. Yeah, I said when Harrison came on that he came on for Leicester, and we were down to 10 men. Right, Corey, thank you so much for jumping on. This was only a short show today. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you to everyone watching. There's 150 of you. Normally, last stream, we had 1,600 watching live. That was at the full-time whistle, and we were all quite angry. I think we've had a little bit of time to calm down, and just wanted to make sure we put something out today for you. I've got to go back to work. Corey, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Young, I thought he had a very good game today. Not just the assist, his defending was really good. Yeah. He gets a lot of stick from me. So he done well. Mangala, I thought had a really good game as well. Him and Garner, for me, should be the central midfield. But overall, we're not bottom.
Are we not bottom?
No. Wolves, that late goal from Villa. So Wolves go from 20th. So, yeah. 20th, yeah. I think just on goal scored, same difference, but goal scored, I think we're above them. So it's like Villa, thank you.
Last the original, where's Frank? I don't know, mate. I agree with you about Young. I can't stand the bloke, but he played well. Credit where credit's due, and got the assist. In summary, we go again. Get Branthwaite back in the team. Hopefully Patterson also for next week. Let's hope they come through the match tomorrow unscathed. And for me, I'd be dropping the entire back four apart from Young based on today's performance, but probably bring Mikalenko in, and I'd be going Patterson, O'Brien, Branthwaite, and Mikalenko. But listen, Dice has got mitigating factors. He'll say they only conceded again from a set piece, but that is the basics. Conceding in your 6-yard box is basic. We did it 3 times against Bournemouth. We did it a couple of times feels like we did it. We've done about 10 times, but anyway, I don't want to repeat myself. Corey, thank you, mate.
You're welcome, mate. Have a good day, mate. Thank you.
I'll catch you soon, mate. I'll drop you a message later. Thank you.